Welcome back to another Mayor's Minute. Today we're going to do a little Government 101. We'll do wave top hit on open meetings and closed session meetings. And the reason I want to talk about it is you've probably seen in the last month or so we've had to have a couple of meetings that were called closed session meetings. And as a reminder, all of our ability to do anything at all is given to us by the North Carolina General Assembly. There's a set of general statutes that give us our power to do anything that we do as a municipality. And within that, there's the open meeting laws. And then there's some exceptions for closed session meetings. You guys have been to open meetings. You know all of our meetings are scheduled. All of our meetings are advertised. All of our meetings, we tell you where it is, when it is. We give you all the W's so you know how to come out and engage with us at meetings. But within that set of laws, there's an exception for items that we're allowed to go into a closed session away from the public to talk about certain things. And I've had a few questions about that recently. And I want to just kind of hit why we would do that, right? And so they're very, very specific exceptions in the general statute. They center around things that typically need to be kept quiet. For example, an obvious one is personnel. Anytime it's a personnel matter about a specific individual or a contract negotiation, that's allowed to go into closed session because that's always going to be a confidential matter. If we're buying a piece of property, if we're selling a piece of property, our negotiating position can be talked about in closed session so we can give direction to the manager so the manager knows what to sell or what to buy a piece of property for. Same if we're going into a negotiation for a contract that's very specific, say for economic development or business development. Those pieces can be talked about in closed session because it protects our position, which is your position as taxpayers. And so the general statutes give us that authority to do that. There's another one that I'll talk about to say how we decide when to go into closed session. That's attorney-client privilege. And so there's a exception that is specifically to go meet with your attorney in consultation. So that would be, let's say there's an active investigation, or maybe there's a decision that's being made across the entire state that could put the city at risk for a lawsuit, or we need to adjust our ordinances because of a lawsuit, or any myriad of reasons like that. We have the authority to go meet with our attorney behind closed doors, the same way you do in your house, in your business, right? But that is one that we have to be very, very careful because you have to meet the spirit of the law in going into closed session. And so how do we decide that as a city of Havelock? So our Board of Commissioners gets to make that decision. Do we go in closed session or do we not? And they actually make a vote and a motion to do that based on the exception. But we always consult our attorney to make sure that what we want to talk about actually is protected by law and that we're allowed to go in for that exception and that we're not just doing it because something's uncomfortable. You've seen us have uncomfortable conversations. That is never a reason to go into closed session. And as a city of Havelock, we're committed to meet in open session for all important issues and non-important issues. Everything in the world we do in open session unless it meets one of those exceptions. Now look, this is a big issue. I've got books in my office that thick just about going into closed session and what that means. I'd love to talk to you more about it. If you want to come by and just kind of talk about open versus closed, you know how to get a hold of us. Email us, message us on Facebook, give us a phone call at City Hall, set an appointment. I'll sit down with you. The manager will be happy to sit down with you and talk about how we make those decisions and what we do. Until then, if you got anything, let us know. Y'all have a great day.